Hey guys, so I chose to do this discussion on a youth baseball team. In my write-up for the discussion, I have the specifics of the warm-up and of the stretching. So for this video, I'm just going to go over coaching cues and proper form on how to do all the exercises that I chose. So to start, for the general warm-up, I would have the baseball team. I would have them start at one foul pole, run to the other foul pole and back. I would have them huddled across, along the fence, so they'd be running along the fence, again, from one foul pole to the other and back again. Next, I would have them shuffle. So let's say we're the away team and we're on the first baseline. I would have them line up on the first baseline, and all the movements we would do till we're even with second base. So that'd be about 90 feet that we're working with one way, and then obviously 90 feet back. So the first one would be shuffling. So for shuffling, we're going to have the kids start an athletic stance, feet about shoulder width apart. Going to be, again, an athletic stance, about a fourth squat. I don't want them way down here. I don't want them standing straight up, just about a fourth squat. So we're going to move laterally as quick as we can without crossing our feet. So it'd be here, coming here, and here. So a lot of kids, or a lot of people actually, and when they shuffle, is when they take that step and then they come to catch up with this trail foot, they'll bring their feet together really close in between their shoulders. We want to try to avoid that, because if we're here and we need to react and go get a ball over there, we have to take about 2 little shuffle steps in order to propel ourselves that way. But when we're bringing that trail leg, if we keep it about shoulder width apart, then from here I can go any which way, as long as because I have that firm center of gravity, that firm base. So when you're shuffling, it's important to tell the athletes to keep a little gap in between their feet when they're shuffling. So we'd have the athletes face one way. They would shuffle down even with second base, so they'd be here, again, keeping that gap. They'd reach second base and shuffle back. The next one would be shuffling. Same thing again, but we would incorporate arm swings. So we'll be here, kind of like if you're a bird and you're flapping your wings, you'd be doing some arm movements here. So again, shuffling stays the same. Start shuffling, then just incorporating arm swings. Again, staying about a fourth squat, down to second base, arm swings, and back. The next one would be karaoke. So I've also seen people do this wrong. I guess it's not necessarily wrong, you're just not getting the full benefit of the exercise. So when people cross their foot, they should have a big arc. They shouldn't just cross over right here. They should really open up the hips nice and wide. So for example, if I'm moving to the left and I'm crossing my right foot in front of my left, I'm going to bring my right knee, try to touch my left shoulder. So that's the path I want. So we're going to bring it way up, cross over, and then back. So you want to tell the athletes, if I'm going to the right, my left knee to the right shoulder, you want to tell the athletes just to open up nice and wide, get a big range of motion, as big as you can. So again, we'd have them face the same way, going down to even with second base, and coming back. So that would look like this: big step, coming back, big knee, big cross on the knee. So after that, the last one in the general warm-up, we would have them shuffle to about halfway to second base. So again, they'd be shuffling. When they get about halfway, we'd have them turn, open up, and then sprint through sprint through second base. So that's just going to kind of mimic like they're running the bases, and it's going to get the heart rate elevated. So again, for example, we're here, shuffling, get halfway, we turn, open up, and then sprint the rest of the way. Same thing coming back. We do that 4 times and progressively get more intense every time. So on the 4th trial, they're full out sprinting at the end. So that would conclude the general warm-up. So we accomplished athletes, they got warmed up, heart rates increased, core temperatures increased. That's kind of the goal of that. So we did that, and then we'd be moving on to the stretching aspect. I would do all dynamic stretches with my baseball team. For baseball, a lot of the common movements in baseball involve the shoulders and the hips, so we would focus on those. For example, if I'm throwing, my shoulder, hips are rotating. If I'm swinging up a bat, again, my shoulders and hips are rotating. So it's important to loosen those up and to focus on those to get them loose. So the first dynamic stretch we would do would be a leg swing. So we're going to do lateral leg swings as well as linear leg swings. So again, for the lateral, we're doing adduction, abduction, and then linear, we're just doing flexion and extension. So how I would like the athletes to set up is we're going to pretend this is a fence. They would be against the fence. They're going to place their plant foot about a foot width away from the fence. And what that does is when you're swinging, it makes the athlete keep a nice straight arc while they're swinging, because if I'm way back here and I start swinging, I can then bring my leg forward and back, and it's not really a straight line. We want that straight line, so being about a foot width away just helps keep that athlete nice and close to the fence in that straight line. So all we would tell the athlete is you're going to swing the leg that's not planted. You're going to swing it as far one way as you can and as far to the other side as you can. So it would look like this, and it would go like that. So the one thing to know about this is if I'm moving my leg to the left, I want my toe to point to the left. So for here, I'm pointing my toe to the left because I'm swinging my leg to the left. When I'm coming back to the right, once I hit the midline, my toe should then switch and face the right side and then open up. So every time I cross the midline, I'm switching the direction of my toe. So obviously we would do both legs, and then we would also go to a forward swing and backward swing. So for this, again, you would still line up about a foot width away. Again, that just keeps the line as straight as they can. And so when you're swinging a forward swing, you want the athlete to dorsiflex their foot, point their toe as high to the sky as they can. And then same thing as when we were swinging side to side, that when you cross that midline, you then plantar flex that foot and then kick back and open up. So then when I cross the midline, dorsiflex, plantar flex. So you do a few leg swings, again, telling them to brush the ground when they're coming back with the tip of their toe, when they're transitioning from dorsiflex to plantar flex. Again, get nice big ranges of motion there. So the leg swings would be number one. Next would be arm circles to warm up those shoulders. So we'd have them do forward circles and backward circles. I'd have them do 10 circles just nice and tight. And then the next 10, they would progressively get bigger circles until they're nice and big. And again, we would do that in reverse as well. Next, we would do walking lunge to elbow instep. So this is a good one, again, to stretch the hip complex. So how we would do this is we would have them walking lunge all the way to second base while they're doing the instep with each lunge. So for example, I would tell the athletes to start, take a big step with our right foot, a little over-exaggerated step from here. Want the weight balance between the front of the foot and the ball of the back foot. And I would tell them just to drop their butt straight down so that their trail knee is about an inch off the ground. So from this position, since my right leg is forward, I would have them plant their left hand on the ground. And from here, bring your right elbow to the instep of your foot. I can only get to about mid-tibia right here. Just tell them to get their elbow as low as they can. And from here, you want them to straighten this leg and try to get a straight line from that toe all the way up to the shoulders. I'm obviously not that flexible, but this is what it should look like best case. And then from here, you'd have them return to the starting position. So you'd have them just come back up to here. They'd bring this trail leg up. And that would be one rep, and we would do that all the way down. One thing to note here is that when they come up, I don't want them to stutter step. I want them to take one big step up to the middle. So they would do that down to second base, and then when they're coming back to the foul line, they would keep the same concept with the walking lunge, except they would do a lateral flex, overhand lateral flex. So we'll stick with the right foot forward. We'll go right foot forward. Same thing as the instep. We drop the knee, even weight between the front foot and the ball of the back foot. Be here, and since our right leg is forward, we'd raise our left hand up, and then we would lean, flexing the left obliques. You'd come back to the middle, and again, no stutter step, stand straight up. So that's going to be a good one, because if we're swinging, again, throwing, it gets these core muscles, the obliques, nice and loose, ready to get that good rotational velocity. So then two more here, we would do straight leg kicks. So instead of kicking straight forward, I'd have them kick a little bit of an angle to the opposite shoulder. So if I'm kicking my right foot, I'd be here, straight leg kick, try to aim, keep the leg straight as high as you can. Obviously we do that for each foot. So left leg would look like that. Again, leg straight, walking down And then when you're walking back, we do what I call grass pickers or grass grabbers, whatever you want to call them. It very closely just mimics a single leg RDL. So you'd have the athletes take a step, they would come down, grab grass, stand up, same thing again, just the other leg, plant that leg, come down, grab grass, and then they would proceed to the foul line. That would conclude the dynamic stretching part of the workout. Again, we worked the core, worked the hip muscles, got the hips nice and loose, same with the shoulders. So from there we'd go into the specific warm-up, and to start for there, I would have the athletes start playing catch. I would have them start with just a few wrist flicks, throwing the ball back and forth, just getting the wrist joint nice and loose. And from there I'd have them play just short catch. And then obviously as they got a little more warmed up, progressively get longer and longer until they're at their peak and can't throw any farther. After that, we would have them do a little batting practice since they're youth, some soft pitch. That should work. If they do actual batting practice, that's fine. That way they get the swings down, getting ready for the game. And lastly, they would do some fielding. So if they're outfielders, they would catch fly balls. If they were infielders, they'd catch grounders. Then after that, it would be game time. We'd be ready to go. Everybody would be nice and loose, and hopefully go out and get the win. So that is what I would do for a warm-up if I was in charge of warming up a youth baseball team. Yeah, thanks for watching.